You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, this is Richard Estep, ghostwriter and from TV's Haunted Hospitals, Paranormal Investigators, Haunted Case Files, and Paranormal 911, and you are listening to PSH Radio on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening, guys. I am back, obviously, for another week. I am on my own. Obviously, I have guests, which I shall introduce in a minute. Carl has landed from Salem earlier on, so he shall be back next week, of course, and to tell us all about Salem, I believe, which is going to be fun because I've got a few things that I want to ask him about, a few hashtags. But anyway, I am joined by two lovely ladies tonight. We had them on a few times when we were on the old network. It's been like over 3 years, probably more, since we had these ladies on, and obviously it's CL Raven. So welcome, girls.
Hello, thanks for having us.
No problem. And how are you both? There's two of you, there.
There is, but we think one of the cats has just knocked a whole load of stuff over, so cats went off to see what they've destroyed.
Links at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, just me at the moment.
It's because you sound the same, don't you? Because you're twins, so I'm like, which one's which?
She's back. We think it was I think it was Mina, but I can't see the damage she's done. I just showed crashing, so I think she might have stuff behind the furniture. We'll sort that later.
She just wants to be heard on the radio. That's what like people think it's ghosts.
I think she showed up at our house last April and just hasn't left. She just decided she was going to live with us. And we're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you've got quite a lot. Well, you call it you've got a quite big animal army, haven't you?
We have, yeah. It's sort of currently at about 12 and a half because there's another cat that insists on living with us, but he actually has an owner. So every few weeks she comes and picks him up and takes him home, and a few weeks later he comes back. So we kind of share this cat. Yeah, she picked him up today. I think he's been with us for about three or 4 weeks now, and yeah. she picked him up today. So we'll see him in a couple of weeks.
Oh, so do they obviously, what do they do? Do you leave food out for them, or do they just turn up at your door?
They just show up on our doorstep. We open the door and there's a cat there, and they cry at us, so we'll feed it. And in the case of Mina was going through our bins. Yeah, so we're like, oh. And then she was like, I'm going to live in your shed. And we're like, oh, okay. And in December she was like, I'm going to live in your house now. And we're like, okay. So she's got her own room. The other cat, she doesn't like our cats.
Yeah, you're a bit like my dad, because he keeps having stray cats come in, and then he homes them and takes them to the vets and everything. So
yeah, that's what we do.
So if you got cats, do you own cats of your own? Obviously, because I know you've got a dog.
Yeah, we've got 4 now that Mina has insisted on living with us. 4 cats of our own. We've got our dog Bandit's actually sitting by us right now, and we've got a rabbit, 2 guinea pigs, a duck, an iguana, and 2 corn snakes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you've got your own little zoo, isn't it?
The iguana was 23 a few days ago, so he's quite old now.
How long did they live for, iguanas? I'm just wondering.
The vet said 10 years, but he was obviously lying. Yeah, I guess about 25 maybe. We're hoping for longer.
Yeah, that's good then. So ladies, what have you been up to?
Not much in the way of ghost hunting recently, unfortunately. No, we went ghost hunting in February in Gloucester Prison, which is now sadly closed, isn't it? But mostly been just working on our horror books. We've been shooting a trailer for a horror film that we're going to be in the summer, and we're just getting the go-ahead on a horror film that we've written and will be directing, just a short one. And we're currently developing a horror game. So we've got a few projects on the go, but next month we're off to Sweden to do a talk in a bookshop over there, and the woman that we're staying with is going to take us around some of Stockholm's haunted castles and palaces. So we're looking forward to that.
Very interesting, because I know, obviously when we've had you on before, that's all you've done, isn't it? Investigating, and you've been posting videos up on your YouTube, because I remember watching your YouTube videos and that.
I know we've got season 5, is it, that we still need to... Yeah, it's half done. Yes, season 5 is half done, but then our cat destroyed our laptop, which had all the episodes on. Which had the editing software on. And they said that they managed to rescue the hard drive, but we haven't had the chance to look at it, because if not... We'd be too scared to look at it. I don't want to look at it and find out that the episodes have gone. I know, because it'd be 3 years of work that have just vanished. I think we managed to... Was it save 3 or 4 of them onto an external hard drive? So we've got 3 or 4 episodes that are we know are safe, but the rest we need to look at and see if there's any salvageable Luckily, our American one is safe. When we met Ghost Adventures, that one's safe. Yeah.
You did it? How did I not know that you did a video?
I know. We did too. It was so weird that you when you messaged us was when we were in Las Vegas, and we were like, oh, they're literally just down the road. We'll come and meet them. It's that was so cool. We did video us meeting them, which was nice. Yeah, so we need to release that one.
Yeah. I can't believe that's the first time you've actually obviously said about that.
Yeah, we posted photos of it, but I don't think we actually mentioned that we had the... They don't know we were videoing them. Did we? Yeah, we did have the video camera. Yeah, we did, because we were chatting to Billy, and Zach was just getting totally mobbed, but we managed to get photos of them all. And then obviously Nick left years ago, but we randomly bumped into Nick when he was shooting his new show at Shrewsbury Jail. We'd gone to Shrewsbury Jail to ghost hunt, and they were like, oh, it's closed because there's been some filming done. And we look across the road, and Nick Groff stood across the road, so we went over and had a chat to him and his new co-star, and we had a photo of them. They were lovely, but we were really annoyed then that we couldn't get into the castle. We haven't been back since, have we? That was a couple of years ago. So we need to go back now. We always end up showing up at places and people are filming.
So but you were like, God damn it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We love you, but
you've ruined our chance. We really should check out their website. I know, we really should check out their websites and that to see what's going on, but we're not that good at forward planning, so we don't. And then there's been so many times that we've shown up at a location that we've decided we're ghost hunting at, and there'll be a wedding. Or we're not allowed to film, or someone else is filming it, and then we end up having to get on our phones, find somewhere else to go as a backup location, and go having done no research on that place whatsoever, and that's usually ends up in a tantrum or two.
I think that's the whole fun of it, though, isn't it? Because you girls do pretty have some good fun, don't you? Investigating or not investigating.
Yeah, because we get bored. Yeah, so we like to do fun things. We like to go to unusual places, and we just sort of, if we can stay overnight, then we will. But generally, we'll just rock up in the day as tourists and do kind of guerrilla style filming. It's a lot of ghosts in haunted places are seen by members of staff or tourists, and also I think if you have fun with it, you build up a good energy, and that might attract something more than just sort of being quiet and sitting there, because I'd be drawn to someone with lively energy. Yeah, and it was kind of nice because the same trip that we met Ghost Adventures, we did the night tour of Alcatraz, and like everyone else was listening to the like audio tour, and we were like, oh, we're too excited, we can't pay attention to this. So we decided, because they were then all following a set route round the jail, so we just went in the opposite direction to them. And we had our cameras, and one of the guides was like, "Oh, are you filming?" And we were like, "Oh yeah, but we got a ghost hunting show." And he got so excited that he took us upstairs when everyone else was downstairs into the hospital ward, and he took us into the psych wards where tourists are not allowed to go, and he let us stay there for a little while, like in complete darkness. And he was like quite scared but also excited and wanted to see if anything would happen. And like 100 people were downstairs watching the demonstration on cell doors, and we were up in the psych wards by ourselves and then getting locked in solitary confinement. So I think we had a better time at Alcatraz. And then
they had to throw us off the island in the end.
Yeah, like they were like, "Are you still here?" And like, yeah, and they were like, "The other tourists are on the ferry," and we were like, "That's good, nice for them." And they were like, "Can you please leave?" And we were like, "Can I just like sleep here?" And they were like, "No, can you please get off the island?" Yeah. So the entire ferry had to, of like 100 people had to wait for us to leave the jail and rejoin them. But it was Alcatraz was amazing. It was so worth it.
Yeah, that's obviously still on my bucket list to do Alcatraz. But that's the good thing though, innit? Because obviously I know, like, I've been to locations before and they've been like, "What are you filming for?" So that was good that the staff were actually understandable with you and were like, "Oh, let's take you here." You know?
Yeah.
It's good like that.
We've got really lucky in some places. Like, we've managed to like get unplanned interviews of staff members at some locations. Badsy Clinton, wasn't it? We went there in the day and we just started chatting to the staff, and they all agreed to do on-camera interviews about their own experiences of paranormal stuff that had happened at the castle. And so that's really cool, because like everything we do is completely like unscripted, and we've got really lucky in some places and got like great interviews and sort of just random locations. And usually the ones we plan out really well just end up failing.
Yeah, so it's the ones that are sort of spontaneous that end. Because we only stopped at Patsy Clinton. We were on our way to York, wasn't it, for a weekend, and we just stopped off on the way. So I thought, oh, this place looks interesting, and then it ended up being a really good place to visit.
Yeah, did you? I don't know if because I know, like, you didn't, because you tend to like film a lot, don't you? And then you put it all together, even if you're just doing random stuff to a location, don't you?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, we usually like do sort of like history and info, like we're in the car, and
which is usually then interrupted by the driver yelling at people.
Yeah, and then like a lot of places we do go around in a day, and then we do a lot of research into it, and then we edit it all together, and it's usually random stuff. And like, we did Draco Tunnels, which will be in season 5. I think that's one of the ones that we've managed to save. And they were like, and there was scaffolding up to these ventilation shafts and that, and they were like, "You're not allowed to climb them." And we were like, "Well, they won't know." So we did climb up the scaffolding and get into these ventilation shafts. And the tunnel I was in, I couldn't really see, but mine, because it ended above another tunnel, and the ones that Lynx and Nina were in had like barriers across them, but mine didn't, and I nearly fell out of the shaft, which would have been quite painful.
And you would have broken our good camera.
Which would have been worse. I would have broken an ankle. And
if the camera is like irreplaceable, your ankle would be fine.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing like, would you been able to get out if you've broken your ankle? This is the thing.
We've dragged you.
I know, we now carry a first aid kit. We're now first aid trained, so that might be a little bit helpful, although we're not obviously that good at it, because we were at a convention a few months ago and a man fell off his chair and took down 2 stools, and we just stood there and watched it. And afterwards we were like, we're first aid trained, we probably should have helped him instead of just laughing. So us being first aid trained probably not going to help us on ghost hunts, really.
No.
Was he sober as well? Did he trip or something?
He was standing on the chair sorting out his stool, and the chair, he stood back and the chair like folded, and he just toppled and took down 2 stools. It was amazing.
He took down a Funko Pop stool.
Yeah, there was just Funko Pops raining down on everyone. It was fantastic.
You do get girls make me laugh every time I get you on because you're just funny. So, yeah, you obviously since we've last spoke, you do a lot of your Comic-Cons and that now, don't you?
Yeah. I think we did like 15 last year. It's a little bit less this year, but yeah, a lot of weekends are spent sort of travelling around different places in the UK to...
Hence the ghost hunting slowing down.
Yeah, because most of our weekends are now spent at conventions instead. But it's like, we want to get back to it. Hopefully when we're in Sweden, we will get a chance to do it. So we'll probably take some cameras over with us and might be able to shoot a couple of Swedish episodes, because we did Venice, was it 2 years ago, and we found an insane asylum island on just off Venice, and so we went there on our birthday, and we were the only people on the ferry, and it was really foggy and creepy, and so it was fascinating. But then the guy was like, the only people who come to this island are students who are studying. Like, we don't get tourists here. And we're like, if it's creepy, we're going to find it. So
we couldn't get to Popeglia, though.
Yeah, we wanted to get to the Plague Island, but they don't let you go there. So we were really sad about that, because they've got an asylum on the Plague Island. So
I know what you mean.
We'll get our boosters and get over there.
Yeah, it's like with Prevalia at the minute, though. It's because I know a friend who went last year.
Oh, really?
She does a paranormal cruise, I think. I think it was last year. She'll kill me if she listens back and I got it wrong. But yeah, it's just like near enough ruin now. Like, there's loads of scaffolding holding it up. There's some areas you can't go into because it's just being left, I believe. I think they're trying to fix it up, but I could be wrong.
They did.
But yeah, last time I know it was dead, like, unsafe and everything. Like,
wear hard hats.
Things have obviously, it deteriorates, doesn't it, if people leave it?
Yeah, we did some urbexing in this place called Talgarth Hospital in Mid Wales, and it took us ages to get in, and we eventually got into the main building by squeezing through a tiny window and crawling under a fence. And then we got in and we went upstairs, and the floors either side of the landing, so all the floors of the rooms had fallen down into the rooms below. So we were walking on the suspended landing, and we're like, oh, this is why they try and keep people out. This place is really dangerous.
It was like known on the urbex sites as being impossible to get in, because they were like the security, there's anti-vandal paint, the fences, and that you just can't get in. And we were like, well, we like a challenge, so we'll go for it.
I don't quite know about security. A guy in the car did stop us and ask what we were doing, and we just said that a family member was a patient at the asylum, and we were searching family history, so we just wanted to see the place.
We're not very good at lying and making stuff up on the spot.
And it didn't help that we were hiding in the bush at the time when he stopped us.
And so we did look really dodgy, but he just sort of drove off, and then we did get in. We got vandal paint,
but we were PVC when we urbex, so it just wipes clean.
And then we managed to squeeze in through these windows and then like bow under a fence, wasn't it? And then we got into the main area, and you just walk along these like suspended lanterns, and you're like, oh, that's why they do the best to keep people out. It's like, it's really dangerous in there. But we were in there for a couple of hours, and then like just casually strode out like through like down the driveway covered in black paint and dirt,
country lanes. Clearly obvious what we've been up to. Stopped us after that.
That's the thing, isn't it, with you girls as well? It's like, you like a challenge. You like, if you see something abandoned, if you can get in it, you will get in it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, before we go like travelling and that, we do a quick sort of Google search on of like foreign countries' trespass laws to see if we'll get away with urbexing in other places, and just to make sure. But those things, we did Mountain Ash Hospital, and our friend fell through the floor, and that was really funny. We pulled her out and then covered the hoe, but that place is burnt down now mostly, isn't it? But we did get into another place at the top of Mid Wales called Red Dress Manor, where people who lived there had died. Literally everything has just been left there. There's cars in the garage, there's all their furniture, there's some clothes, there's like makeup bottles and that, and
like bank statements and
yeah,
stuff.
like old papers, and it's mostly been trashed now by vandals, but we managed to climb in through a window, and we spent a good few hours there, like exploring the house. And then when we left, we found a note on our car saying, like, I know where you've been. And we were like, oh, okay. And then we got in the car, and this man knocked on our window with a mallet, and he was like, I know where you've been. And we were like, okay. And he was like, you know, you're not, if you come back here again, I'm going to phone the police. And we were like, well, we've been in, so we don't really need to come back. He was just like trying to threaten us and scare us away. And we're like, well, we've already been in, we got our footage, we've got out, we're fine.
I mean, we're in a Mini Cooper, we're faster than he is.
Yeah, that's what you find though, innit? Because I know like some people don't really mind you going and do it as long as you don't vandalise it. But then it's like, obviously, because if it does get vandalised, people, security and that think you're the same. But you can see why the security and that can't, because of the vandals. So
I know they sort of like they ruin it really, because a lot of people just want to go in and explore and have a look around and see what these buildings are like. But then there are some people who just want to go in and destroy them, and it's like, so yeah, like in a way, I think there does need to be sort of more stronger security on these places, but at the same time, then we would never get in. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for one of them videos now where, you know, you've got just you two running away from security. I can just picture it now.
I know. So we've got a really nice action cam now, so at least when we're running away, our footage will be like nice and smooth. It won't be jarring of like shots of ground in the feet, because I tend to have it strapped to my chest, and
we've been doing a lot of training. We've got personal training now, and he makes us run despite our complaints. So at least we can now run.
Yeah, and we'll be able to scale the fences because we're stronger as well. So if we do get chased by security, we're a lot stronger and fitter now than we've ever been. So we'll be able to outrun them, or at least outrun our friends.
Yeah, it's obviously to do with health and safety as well. They're in it with security, so it's just not obviously vandalism. So
yeah, because we're not really the most sort of health and safety conscious, really. Well, you know, we laughed and our friend fell through the floor, so we're not the best people to because they always ask that when you try and go something places, they're like, you know, health and safety, and we're like, oh, we're not going to let them watch our shows then.
Yeah, but you know, don't you, that you have to obviously follow some health and safety.
Yeah.
You do, I know you do. Yeah. So
yeah, we've not climbed over the barriers to harass mannequins in Bodmin jail, so we do adhere to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the you like your mannequins in jail, so.
When we hired Bodmin jail, the guy said, you know, yeah, you can have full use of the jail, he said, but don't touch the mannequins. And he'd watched one of our episodes before, because we'd done a Bodmin one, but it was mostly us driving around the moors interviewing the sheep about the beast. And he watched that, but still let us have the jail, surprisingly.
That was a good night. Yeah, that was good.
See, but I'm one of these where I can't stand mannequins. Like some I don't mind, but some others are just like, if that moves, that's it.
Stay away from Bodmin jail one, because those ones are really, really creepy.
Yeah,
they're terribly painted, so
the faces.
Horrible. They are. I think that quite possibly the scariest mannequins we've seen is the Bodmin jail ones, and they have them recreating the crimes that people were imprisoned for as well, which is. Like there's a baby down a mine shaft.
No, she's holding the baby over the well.
Oh yeah, there's one of another woman holding a baby over a well. So it's quite disturbing. It's like they let children go there.
I know,
traumatise them.
Yeah, they do. They do rare reenactments in at the Galleries of Justice as well, don't they? And they've got creepy ass mannequins there.
Yeah, I like the Galleries of Justice.
We need to go back. We've only been once.
Yeah,
I remember. When I was a kid, because obviously at Warwick Castle, I don't know if you've ever been Warwick Castle.
No, we want to go. It looks really cool.
But like they've took it out now. I don't know what they've done with it. But when I went as a child, when I went to school, they had this horse what name?
Okay.
Every time you went past this, full-blown massive shire horse, and I just remember just being proper scared of mannequins, and they got like this handmaiden, I think she is. Like, she doesn't look creepy now because obviously I'm older.
Yeah.
But obviously when you're a kid, you're like, what?
Yeah. It's a dead eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, the good thing is at least like they're not a ghost on like CCTV when you're filming and that, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. They were still waiting for a mannequin to move at some point. I think we watched too many horror films.
I know. It would be cool though. Like, we always try and encourage the spirits to like knock them over or like knock their hats off or something, and they never do what we ask. I think they just like take one look at us and they're just like, we're not performing monkeys, I'm not going to do that for you. But when we did go to Bodmin jail, cause, there was only 5 of us and we spent the entire night there, and our friends were like, so where were we sleeping in? And we were like, we're kind of hoping they'll let us sleep in the jail. And you're like, have you not booked anywhere for us to stay? And we were like, no, because we really wanted to sleep in the jail. We thought that by not booking somewhere to stay, that they might take pity on us and let us sleep in the jail. Either that was going to be the Moors, which no one was keen about, except us.
Yeah.
We quite fancied sleeping on the Moors.
Camping, hunting for the beast.
Yeah, but they did actually let us sleep in the jail, which was...
well, for all of 2 hours.
Yeah. But still, we did get to sleep there. But that one was cool because we were in the abandoned naval room, which I think they're now doing up into... They're either restoring it or turning it into a hotel. I can't quite remember. But it was really cool because that was the abandoned wing. And we were in there and we suggested that we all split up and go into separate cells. And then when we played that digital voice recorder back, you very clearly hear a man saying, careful, just after Neen suggested that we split up. And it was weird because there was no men there. It was just 5 women. And like, we thought, is it voices from the town? But like, they were quite far away and our cameras didn't pick it up. We didn't hear it, but the voice recorder very clearly picked it up. And it was after that then our friend saw like a shadow in the cell. And we didn't know about the voice at that time because we're terrible at listening back to evidence. And
I think it was like a year later we finally played it.
that we finally were like, oh, we need to listen to DVR, and then we heard the voice and we're like, oh my God, that is so weird. But it's quite creepy that, none of us shared it at the time. And then like our friend comes running out to Salco and that I saw a figure in there and we just like mocked her for being so scared and went in there and we were like, there's nothing in here, it's fine. But there obviously was something there because we have this man's voice, and it's the only time we ever captured the voice.
Yeah, never had them
Most
before.
voices that we think that we've captured is usually one of us just ruining the EVP.
Yeah. Or someone else.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it.
Yeah, we're like, have I caught something there? And then we'll play it back on camera, and it's like, no.
We never try and mark like every noise, like when my left knee clicks, and it only ever does it when it's meant to be silent. So on like most recent sort of episodes we've done, every now and again you just hear me going, that was my knee, as it like clicks loudly on camera with the DVR.
Oh, that was your stomach.
Yeah, my stomach gurgle. So it's like every time that happens, it's just like, that was my stomach.
It's not paranormal.
Yeah, I think everybody gets that though, don't they? Like, it'll be dead silent, and then someone's stomach will go, and you think it's a demon, and you're like, no, it's just my stomach. And then demon.
It's like you don't realise how noisy your body is until you need absolute quiet.
Yeah, it's like your body can't cope with the pure silence, so your stomach's like, I'm going to chat for a bit.
Yeah. So, how many haunted places have you girls been to? If you can remember.
I was quite a few. Probably 30, 40, maybe even more.
Yeah, if you think we're filming wise, you do like 9 episodes per season, and we've got 5.5 seasons. So
that's got to be... Yeah, so that's about 50, but then there's ones that we haven't filmed in, so it would be in sort of upwards of 50 then.
Yeah, so we'll go about 60 at a guess.
Wow. I'm just like, wow. I can't even count how many I've been on, so
Yeah.
it'd take all night probably. So obviously you've done quite a lot because I obviously follow you on social media. You do your own, well, you do host a horror radio show, don't you, Giles?
Yeah, we called it The Graveyard Shift, which after we called it that, we realised how popular that name was for like podcasts and other stuff. But it's like, we're not changing it now. Yeah, it's a community radio station based in Torvine, which is like half an hour north of Cardiff. And it's just an online one. And they were just like looking for presenters. And we were like, oh, it'd be cool to do a horror show. And so we drive it. About half an hour away, so we sort of drive up every Friday night to do it and do a different topic each week, and we get like horror news and
yeah, we sort of do some paranormals. We do like every now and again another paranormal based show on it, but or like serial killers and that. And everyone else's shows they play like it's like proper radio shows, and then they do like pop music, and then we have
request shows,
and we have like rock and metal, and then talking about serial killers and ghosts and
I think like on a Wednesday, like one woman like talks about like what happens in the soaps and that, and then there's us with we did a whole Jack the Ripper season that lasted from the end of August to November. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's good though, because obviously I think it's good that you girls have obviously gone into that, because you don't know whether some radio stations like that, I know it's just online, whether they're like, oh, we're not having you, you know. We don't want people talking about horror and that on our radio, you know.
Every week we keep expecting the boss to go, you know what, no, you're fired.
So do you get like a lot of interest in your radio show and listeners?
I don't know. We've got I know like our friends listen.
We've got like quite a few listeners in America, like people we know on Facebook. They message us when we're on there saying, I'm listening to you whilst I'm in work.
Or you've forgotten to switch the microphone on.
Yeah, like we take it in turns as who is in control of the mic and the music and who's in control of like the main part of talking about the show. And when I'm in control of the mic and the music, that's when it goes wrong, and there's been a couple of occasions where for 15 minutes I haven't switched the mics on, and then we get our American listeners going, I can't hear anything, and I'm like, oh. And we're not allowed to swear on air, which is quite hard. It was just challenging for us for 2 hours. And then there'd be times they were like, I've forgotten to cue the music, and then there's just like radio silence, and then they're like, oh no. And forgetting to switch the mics off.
Yeah,
that was a good one. We forgot to switch the mics off, and then whilst the music was playing, we were talking about serial killers, and so it goes better when Lynx is in control of the.
I usually forget to cue the music, and then like the backup stream kicks in. So you go.
But you've never left like the mics off and like us had to redo like half the show.
No.
But it is a lot of fun. We've got a dedicated listener in Scotland called Chloe. She's lovely. She discovered our historical Edinburgh books online, and she's been a fan like ever since. And we talked to her a lot on like Instagram, and we did a HorrorCon in Edinburgh last May, and we got to meet Matthew Lillard, which was really cool. He's super tall, and we terrified him. And we're like, how? We're like half your height, but like,
and we convinced him his hotel was haunted.
Yeah, because he played Shaggy in Scooby-Doo, and he is actually scared of ghosts. So we did manage to convince him that the hotel he was staying in was haunted,
because he was on about like he heard noises and stuff.
And we were telling him all about ghosts and like stuff they could do, and I think he was then too scared to go back, which was really amusing. And this girl Chloe came to meet us there, and she tunes in every week. So it's really nice that we have got some like dedicated people who do listen every week and who can tell us when we've screwed it up and not switched the microphones on.
I think everyone does it though, don't they? So
and we're used to sort of technology going wrong, and it's like we've been
last week the website got hacked.
Yeah,
so only people listening on the app could share it.
And it was only during our show that it got hacked as well. So I think someone was trying to silence us, but we can't be silenced. But it is a lot of fun, and we enjoy doing it. Sort of, it's something a little bit different for us, but it's like, you know, Calamityville never went right. So if our radio show went right, I think it would be quite shocking. We're so used to it, things going wrong and just like winging it. I think that kind of suits us really.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to wing it though, don't you? You don't want to, but sometimes listeners want you to be funny, don't they? And be like, oh my God, we forgot to, you know.
Yeah, people quite like it. It's like they do say to us, we like your show because it's not professional, it's not slick and polished, it's just you. And that's actually what people say they like about Calamityville, is the fact that they like the tantrum. Yeah, like our mum says, you're not going to edit out that swearing meltdown you just had on camera. And we're like, actually, people quite like that, and we leave it in because we're like, that is us. That is exactly how we're like that. Our poor gymnastics club got treated to it on Monday when I couldn't do. We were trying to learn how to run across a wall, and it took me about 25 attempts to do it. And so our gymnastics club got treated to a classic swearing meltdown, and they're not as used to it as like our viewers are, but they will learn. They all walked off, and they were just like politely just sidling away from me so that they wouldn't have to like deal with it. And there's my swearing like bellowing across the gym and me yelling at you. Yeah. And two of us arguing in the middle of gym, like 10 feet apart. Yeah. Shouting at each other across the gym. And it's like, so yeah, the stuff like that happens on Calamityville. Like, yeah, that is just us. That happens, and we just like, one of us over meltdown, and we just end up shouting at each other.
Yeah, you don't post that on Facebook. I've seen some of your videos. That's the bits you don't record, innit?
Yeah. I know you can see in some of like the gymnastics videos where I haven't done the skill, and like you just like I throw my hand up where you can tell that there's some points where I'm shouting at the coach, and it's because they have to get muted because of the music in the background. Yeah, so you just see me like silently like mouthing off at the coach, and the poor guy, like he's 10 years younger than us, he's absolutely lovely. He doesn't know how to handle us when we have a tantrum. Like Neem will just like laugh at us and take the piss.
He's just used to like people doing what they're told and just getting on with it.
But it's actually really weird because we were in gymnastics when we gave it a few months ago, and one of our friends came up and said, there's a girl over there that knows you. And we're like, okay. And she was like, do you ghost hunt? And we were like, yes, we do. And it turned out this girl who was from Bristol had seen our ghost hunting episodes. They'd randomly found them on YouTube and had been watching them. And then she recognised us in gymnastics. And at that point in the lesson, we were trying out these, we do these acro balances. Basically, we see them on Instagram, goes, that looks really cool. Attempt to do it, having no idea, got no training, we don't know how to do it. And it usually involves links being dropped on her head because I've dropped her. Yeah. And
almost in the giggling, like ending up in a tangled giggling heap.
Yes, you just like fall over. And so this girl that had been watching our ghost hunting episodes got to watch an entire hour of us just basically throwing each other around, dropping ourselves, and just basically messing around in gymnastics. And so she got to see the stuff that we do on Calamityville, like messing around and not taking it seriously, is basically how we do gymnastics as well. Although she hasn't been back. Which probably is like, oh God, no, they're here in real life. I'm not coming back to this gym.
So you're very popular authors, horror book writers now, aren't you, ladies? Because obviously, I don't think you've been writing for that long, have you?
We've been published we first got published about 10 or 11 years ago, and then we started with the self-publishing in 2012, and we now do a mixture of self-publishing and then having stuff published in magazines and anthologies. Usually it's America and Australia. Like, British publishers don't seem to like our work very much, but it is mostly American and Australian audiences that sort of, they're our sales really. And it's quite interesting because we're actually, one of our books now, Silent Dawn. We created a game in the book that the characters play, and we're now actually working with someone to develop the game. We know nothing about game development. We don't play games, but luckily our friend does know about game development, so he's developing a text-based game based on the game in our book, basically.
Yeah, it's like a choose-your-own-adventure game,
but
we've just writing on the screen and you just click different paths, and like some paths lead you to death, some paths like lead you to sort of collecting things that you're supposed to collect, and then like it will take place in an asylum as well, so we get to do creepy stuff.
But yeah,
I guess that's a new thing for you, though, innit?
Yeah, because we like to sort of do different stuff. Like we've started writing comics now as well, and one of our comics is going to be published hopefully the end of the year. And like we've now written the film script, so we're sort of getting involved with films a bit more. We worked for a year on an indie horror film called Clownface, sort of up in the Midlands.
That was cool because we got to go because they'd been looking for a location for like the serial killers there, and we mentioned Drakelow Tunnels, so they managed to hire it, so we got to be in Drakelow Tunnels for a week. It was brilliant.
It was. So
of course we told everybody that it was haunted,
and so in between like shooting takes, we'd take the cast and crew round the tunnels and tell them about all the ghosts, and one of them kept having weird experiences. She managed to record that because she was really excited about it, and she went off like on her own, and she heard someone calling her name, and her camera picks it up, but it wasn't like any of the cast and crew, and it was actually really creepy. And like she kept seeing, like,
didn't you feel something touch you?
Yeah, I was because like the areas we'd shoot in, we'd have lights, but the rest of the place didn't have power, so you had to go everywhere in the dark, and most of the crew didn't think to bring torches, even though we said to them, it's going to be cold, it's dark, there's no power. But I walked past this corner, and I thought someone was standing there, and I felt myself get touched, and I turned around and I shone my torch back, and there was no one there. And because everyone else was on set, and I was just in a different part by myself, because I think I'd gone to get something from like the crew base, and yeah, it was really weird. And like sort of as I walked past the corner, there was like I could have sworn that there was actually someone standing there, but I looked back, shone my torch, and there was no one there. And so it was really cool because obviously we'd been there a few years ago ghost hunting, but to actually get to spend an entire week down in the tunnels was amazing. But we'd start there at 6 a.m. and finish at 6 p.m. So it was dark when we arrived and dark when we left. So we didn't see daylight for about 5 days. And it was freezing down in the tunnels, but we got to decorate the set into a serial killer's lair and that. And
as we left, then paranormal teams would come in for the night.
And we'd be leaving, and like all these teams would be showing up. And but it was quite funny because people were like, have you been down there? And like, oh yeah, we've been filming it. And they were like, oh, because apparently like no one's investigated this place before. I mean, like, you're joking, right? Like, we investigated this place 3 years ago. People have been coming to Drakelow Tunnels for years, but their organizer told them that they were the first group to investigate it. And we were like, well, that's bullshit, because we found out about it from another paranormal group who'd been there. And then they were like, and we were like, oh, it's terrifying down there. Oh, the ghosts that are down there. And we really freaked them out by making out that it was like the scariest place ever. And then some of them looked like they didn't want to go down there, and then we were just like, have a nice night, and just drove off.
Yeah, it is a bit creepy though, in Drakelow Tunnels. I've been myself there, but
it's
years ago now.
How the sound carries down, because obviously all the tunnels are on like a grid system, but the acoustics down there are really weird, and sometimes you can hear people in different tunnels that are not connected to your own. But
so when we went there ghost hunting, I had absolutely no idea where I was. Like, we constantly got lost, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we'd crawl through these holes in the wall and come out in the toilet block somewhere. But when we were then filming it, we actually got to know it really well, didn't we?
Yeah, and we were actually able to find our way around. And then we discovered that they'd filled in all the little crawl spaces that we used to crawl through with shortcuts. So, because most people were too tall to get in there because we're so small. We would just like scurry through. But yeah, we got to know the tunnels really well. We got to find our way around, and it was just really good.
We were filming in Tunnel 1 and 4, weren't we?
Which are actually the haunted tunnels. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's like with Drakelow tunnels. It's just it's one of them locations in it where I think like you could go probably every weekend or something, and you still don't know where you're going because it's so massive.
Yeah, I know, and it should be easy because all the tunnels are on the grid system and they all link, but at the same time, we struggled with it. We got to know which tunnel we were in because they all have slightly different ceilings, which sounds a little bit odd, but we were able to tell the tunnels apart by like the roofs of the tunnels, and but like we were filming, like every now and again, like one of the windows would like get smashed, and it's like a person would be walking past and like just put their hand like on the pane of glass, and then it would smash, and we ended up with rows of duct tape, like repairing parts that just would randomly fall off, wasn't it? So spent a lot of time fixing stuff in Drakelow tunnels.
Yeah, I think they're doing a lot of work on it at the minute, though, aren't they? They do. They have public. I think they have like. I don't know if it's the public, but I know like they've put a lot in there. Like they've put loads of lighting in there, and they are slowly fixing it up, which is good.
When we went there years ago, like when we investigated it, there was no power at all there. But when we went back to film, they had power in like the kitchen area, and
they fixed the toilet door.
And they fixed
when we went there 3 years ago. Like it was pitch black, and it's like, oh, I need a loo, but I didn't bother taking my torch with me, and I went to close the toilet door, and it fell on me, and it landed on my ear, and I've still got a cauliflower ear. But they fixed that now, luckily.
Yeah, and so there are some areas that do have power now, like we got shown how to use a generator. Not that I was really paying that much attention, but it was weird seeing.
Wasn't there that one tunnel with red light?
Yeah, that was really cool. And so seeing it lit up when you're used to wandering it in the dark is so strange. You're like, it's a completely different thing. I actually found it eerier when it was when the lights were on.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was because like you could see quite a lot of it, but I felt that when all the lights were on, you felt a little bit more alone.
Yeah. I suppose because you can't see how alone you are, how big and wide the corridors are, whereas how the tunnels, whereas if it's just torchlight, you only see a little way in front of you, so it doesn't feel quite so open.
Yeah. So obviously I know I've got 2 of your books. I haven't read them yet, so because I'm reading 2 from 2 other people at the minute. But so, like, what generally makes you want to write?
I don't know. We've been writing we started like writing stories when we were like 10. Weirdly, we actually met up with our teacher, that our primary school teacher that taught us when we were like 9 or 10. And she was like, "You had to read our stories, the poor woman." Yeah, and she was like, "You haven't grown." And we're like, "No." Small. And she said, "What are you doing now?" And we said, "Oh, we're horror writers." And she said, "I remember the stories that you used to write for me." Popped up, and she was like, "Yeah," and the drawings. And we're like, "We still got them." So I think now, if we were children now writing that sort of stuff, they probably would have like phoned a psychologist. But back in the 80s, it was like, oh, they've got such an imagination. So we've always loved reading. We read from a really young age. We were quite advanced in reading, and I think that just automatically tends to sort of lead a lot of people to start to write their own books. Yeah, because we would just read like any given chance we had, and then it just was natural for us to then start just writing our own stuff. And in the past like sort of 10 years where we haven't written, if they spent that and not writing, it's usually at conventions or traveling and that. But I don't know, it's just something that we love. If we don't write for more than a few days, we sort of start getting a little bit edgy and
stroppy.
Yeah, it keeps us sane. But our favourite sort of stuff to write is still it's paranormal, it's ghost stories. That, like, out of all the like horror subgenres, the paranormal remains our favourite. We just don't get bored of writing ghost stories.
No.
I think it's probably easier for you to obviously write paranormal books because obviously you're being ghost paranormal investigators yourself, so it's easy to have that imagination in that area, isn't it? Whereas horrors, I know you're hugely into your horror films anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, because you've been on investigations yourself, so you know obviously what to write and things.
It's weird because in Deadly Reflection, some of the locations that are in there are locations that we went into, but it was actually the writing that got us into being paranormal investigators, because we wrote a novel about paranormal investigators and we'd never been on the ghost hunt and we had no idea like what it entailed. And we were like, so we decided we should probably do a bit of research. So we bought a book about haunted places in Cardiff. We dragged our poor mum out to sit in deserted country lanes waiting for a ghost to show up, which they never did. Got lost quite a few times. And then
it's because we had an out-of-date map and there was a road on that we took that wasn't on the map.
Yeah, and so then we were like, oh, we didn't realise these places were haunted. So we started visiting the places that were in this book that we'd bought. And then one of our friends sent us like voucher deal thing for a ghost hunting company, and we were like, oh, we should book, but the only place left that was available to go on was Riffin Jail in North Wales, and we were like, okay, well, we'll go to Riffin Jail. So we went up to North Wales, and so that was like our first ghost hunt. We were half an hour late because we got lost in North Wales, because North Wales is just really confusing to drive around. And
it was the day before we didn't have smartphones.
Yeah, we didn't have smartphones. It was years ago, and it's all like country lanes in North Wales, and the signs point the wrong way. And
we stopped and asked these drunk people outside the church for directions,
and the North Walians don't like us because we're Southern people, and the Southern people are rough. And we ended up half an hour late to this ghost hunt, and. But the jail was amazing, and we took our video camera there just to be able to record the experience of ghost hunting, so we could then use it as research for the book that we were writing. And we just loved it, and we decided. And then we were like, well, why don't we do a ghost hunting show? And because we were watching like Most Haunted and Ghost Adventures, and we were like, well, we filmed in this jail. That could be our first episode, and that is how Calamity Film was born, really. And, like, it was born having tantrums in a country lane, getting lost on the ghost hunt, and it 7 years later has not progressed.
Quite fittingly, there's a place before you get to the jail called Loggerheads.
Yeah,
and we were arguing at that point, and it's quite fitting, really.
So it had like professional wise, like our equipment has been upgraded, our cars have been upgraded, but we're still getting lost and shouting at each other.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy as well when I investigate, is the filming.
Yeah, it is so much fun. It's just being there. It doesn't matter how many times like we go to haunted locations, it's still exciting, and new, finding somewhere new to go is still really exciting. So it's like that's what we're looking forward to in Sweden, is because we don't know anything about the haunted places in Sweden, and so we are currently learning Swedish so we can hopefully communicate with them. Well, we'll at least be able to name anyone. Yeah, it's about as far as our Swedish goes.
But our friend that will be, obviously she's Swedish, so she can do the talking, and then we'll just put like translations up on screen.
Yeah.
Mm. So can you tell us a little bit about your horror films you're part of?
Yeah, the last Saturday we were shooting a trailer for a film we're going to be in called School Hall Slaughter, and it's an 80s style slasher. Yeah, 80s style slasher, and we're friends with the guy who's directing it, and he's going to be narrating some of our books, because we intend turning some of our books into audio books, and our friend Hugh is going to do the narration. And So in exchange for him narrating our books, we agreed to be in his film. And he's like, you're going to be playing teenagers. And we were like, we're 36, we can't pass as teenagers. But he's like, you'll be great because you're short. And then we put the uniform on last Saturday and took selfies. And we were like, we actually do look about 17. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. We got to be like really sinister and creepy and just walk around terrorizing people with sledgehammers, fake sledgehammers. And then, so that was for the trailer. And then we're actually on in July. And so we're really looking forward to that, because we've not really done acting before. Like we were extras in Clownface, which we were the crew for. We just basically like run from a serial killer in that and
faceplant on the crash mat.
And then we had small parts in Another Friends. Like it's like a 10-minute film, wasn't it? Like things got to be played two different victims being murdered, and I got to play a newborn demon. So we were shooting that up in like the mountains of the valleys. It was in January, and I was just wearing a morph suit, so it was freezing.
I was okay. I
had to do a back bridge and walk around and that, and just look really creepy. And it was like freezing, and I was put my coat on in between takes. And then we, the producers of Clownface asked us to write a short film for a body horror anthology that they're putting together. And we were like, we'll cheat and we'll adapt one of our own stories for the film rather than coming up with something new. So one of the stories in Romance is Dead, the Andy Valentine's collection, is going to be our film, about a resurrected Welsh saint who achieves immortality by eating the still beating hearts of her lovers. So she like rips their hearts out of their chests and with love spoons and eats them. So it's going to be proper gory. And two of the actors who were on Clownface are actually going to be our main actors as well. So it's quite nice.
The guy who was playing the serial killer is going to be like
a potential victim.
Yeah, a love interest to me.
Yeah, and the girl who was playing one of Clownface's victims is actually going to be the killer instead. So it's quite nice. And like we were asked to do it about 18 months, 2 years ago. I think it's about 18 months ago, and we produced the script in about a month, wasn't it? Because we just had to adapt our story, and then we've got the script, we've got we learned how to do shot lists, we've got our props, we've got our sets, we're ready to go. And they were like, no one else has got a script, and we were like, but we're ready to go. And now, 18 months later,
I think we'll be filming it right in the autumn.
Yeah, everyone else has now got their scripts together, and we've just been sat on ours for 18 months going, guys, come on, when are we filming this? We're really excited about it. But I think around about September time, I think we're going to be shooting it. So there's going to be lots of blood, and
it's only going to be 12 minutes.
I know. So. But most of the blood scenes are going to be in our friend's house, so he can clean it up.
Yeah. So, ladies, we're coming to the end of the show. So, would you like to tell everybody your links for how they can find your books on social media or watch your videos?
Our books are on Amazon. You can just search CL Raven. We have a blog. crraven.wordpress.com, and the details of the film we were doing is currently on there. And then we're on Instagram at crraven666, where you'll mostly just see pictures of our cats and then us failing in gymnastics and doing polefit.
And we have Calamityville Horror 666.
Yeah,
because someone nicked Calamityville Horror.
I know.
Someone nicked the name, so we had to put 666 on the end.
All our Calamityville episodes are on YouTube on our Ravens Retreat channel. We need to get season 5 on it now. It's weird because season 5 is now 3 years old, I think.
Yeah.
And it interesting, watching it, like how many times our hair colour changes throughout the season. And so watching it back, and oh my god, we were like 3 years younger, then we didn't wrinkle start, and we were so fresh faced.
Twitter is CR Raven and Calamity Horror, though I haven't used Calamitybille accounts for ages now.
No, when we're in Sweden we'll get back on them. Yeah. We probably like deactivated them for use. Although we use them for Gloucester when we like. This woman was trying to cheat in the Ouija board, so we foiled her by holding down the planchette and watching her struggle. That was fun.
Anyway, girls, with that said, it comes to the end of the show.
It's been so much fun.
It's gone so fast.
Yeah.
It always does, you know that.
Yeah, because we don't stop talking.
No, but that's a good thing, you know. So, ladies, if you'd like to say good night to everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And it's a good night for me, guys.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.